a first for Franklin County. We're going to, in a few moments, unveil the skull of a humpback whale. This is a 30-foot juvenile dead whale that was found floating in Stellwagen Bank, which is a common feeding ground off the coast of the Cape, and towed to shore in Chatham, Massachusetts in September of 2010. The entire whale was donated to Greenfield Community College by Massachusetts Wildlife and cleaned and moved by GCC students to campus last September in 2011. We'd like to begin with opening remarks from our president, Bob Pura. Bob?
So real quickly, somebody yell out a definition of a symbol. What is a symbol? Symbol. The word symbol means?
Representation.
Representation. What? Give me another definition of the word.
Radiates many meanings.
Radiates many. It's
embodiment of an idea.
It represents an idea. It sends a message. It communicates. This will be a symbol of what the college is communicating to students, faculty, staff, to our community. And so that symbol is not only about our appreciation for the environment, our appreciation for its natural beauty, but more about what science means to this campus. We have art, we have business, we have all of the different programs on campus, but this will be a statement about the way in which scientific reasoning and critical thinking is an important part of what this college stands for and represents, just as it is making a statement about the art that we hang. So I really do want to say thank you to Brian for being such a wonderful advocate of the college, of our students, of our teaching and learning, but also about the critical thinking and the scientific reasoning that comes from the classrooms of the college. And I also want to say thanks to Julian. You and the people that work with you have just done a great job in making sure that that whale is displayed right. And I know that there'll be a whole lot of conversation about the name of the whale. And I suspect the English folks might come up with something like Herman or Melville, and the music department might even say Moby would be appropriate. That's a good joke, Moby. We'll think about that. So we'll at some point, thank you, we'll at some point have some sort of contest. Maybe we'll just simply call it Brian. Thank you all very much for making time for coming out. Thank you especially for Brian for being so significant to me.
What you're going to see is the skull of the humpback whale. We actually have the entire skeleton. And it's actually in one of our staff, faculty members' office. The vertebrae are laid out. And she has been a wonderful sport in living with the whale for 6 months or something now. And she would like to say a few words. Lise McLaughlin from Engineering.
Sharing space with the whale. Science appreciates whales. Darwin said the love of all living creatures is the most noble attribute of man. Poets also appreciate whales. There is the microscopic anatomy of the whale, and this is reassuring, says William Carlos Williams. But how do whales feel about us? I've been thinking about that a lot, having the whale in my office. This whale is a creature in its own right, not only a material body, but an inanimate spirit as well. The whale spirit is called Buddha by the Native Americans of our region. They remind us that within him dwells the great spirit that lives in all things. In this moment, I'd like to take a moment to recognize in all of nature, in this whale, and in each other, the presence of the combination of material and spiritual that binds us together as one on earth. We bid welcome to the whale. Whale, We celebrate your participation in our community, where we share the joy of swimming through life with a common purpose. We appreciate the honor you bestow on us by joining our pod. Thank you, Will, and welcome to the GCC community.
Thank you, Lise. Lise read one short poem, and in searching for ways to welcome the whale, the English department, of course, had to get involved. So Trevor Kearns, representing the English department, is going to share with us another poem.
Yeah, we're busy bodies. We gotta get involved. This is a poem by Mary Oliver, who is a nature poet. She writes a lot about the natural world and various human relationships with parts of the natural world. This poem is entitled Humpbacks. It was published in like the late 70s, early 80s, I want to say. And it has to do with humpback, a whale watch she basically went on in Stellwagen Bay. Right. So humpbacks. There is, all around us, this country of original fire. You know what I mean. The sky, after all, stops at nothing, so something has to be holding our bodies in its rich and timeless stables, or else we would fly away. Off Stellwagen, off the Cape, the humpbacks rise. Carrying their tonnage of barnacles and joy, they leap through the water. They nuzzle back under it like children at play. They sing, too. And not for any reason you can't imagine. 3 of them rise to the surface near the bow of the boat, then dive deeply, their huge scarred flukes tipped to the air. We wait, not knowing just where it will happen. Suddenly they smash through the surface. Someone begins shouting for joy, and you realize it is yourself as they surge upward, and you see for the first time how huge they are as they breach and dive and breach again through the shining blue flowers of the split water. And you see them for some unbelievable part of a moment against the sky, like nothing you've ever imagined. Like the myth of the 5th morning, galloping out of darkness, pouring heavenward, spinning. Then they crash back under those black silks, and we all fall back together into that wet fire. You know what I mean? I know a captain who has seen them playing with seaweed, swimming through the green islands, tossing the slippery branches into the air. I know a whale that will come to the boat whenever she can, and nudge it gently along the bow with her long flipper. I know several lives worth living. Listen, whatever it is you try to do with your life, nothing will ever dazzle you like the dreams of your body. Its spirit, longing to fly while the deadweight bones toss their dark mane and hurry back into the fields of glittering fire, where everything, even the great whale, throbs with song.
Thank you, Trevor. We are really fortunate to contract out with a wonderful design firm studio down in Holyoke called Steelhead Studio. The 2 guys, the principals who did the fabrication and the design, the supporting structure for the whale, had absolutely no idea what they were getting involved in. How many times do you mount the skull of a humpback whale? How many more times will they do this? And literally, I think they had to invent the wheel, not reinvent it. It had not been there. So I'd like to introduce Julian Halpern, one of the principals from Steelhead Studios, who will speak a few words. Thank you, Julian.
Well, I guess I'd like to start by thanking Bob and Brian for the opportunity to work on a project of this magnitude. We work primarily with steel, but with other natural materials, wood and stone, but have never worked with a material like the skull of a humpback whale. It sat in our studio dauntingly for a couple of weeks, and we really had to, we tossed around tons of ideas of how to mount it, how to fabricate it, and we ended up with what you'll see when it's unveiled. Marrying steel with bone was a very complicated thing, and
Part of it was by the seat of our pants. And as Brian said, we didn't know what we were getting into. But I'm very proud of what we ended up with, and I'd especially like to thank my partner Zach for his technical assistance and just assistance in general. And thank you.
All right, almost there, folks. The great unveiling. Bob Pura, our president, when interviewing candidates for positions, seems to always lead with this question: why this position and why GCC? So we're going to ask the whale this: why this position? Why GCC? The whale can't answer, but speaking for the science department, I'll do my best to speak for, at least for us. One can argue that one of the greatest threats confronting us as a society is the presence of an alarming and profound degree of scientific illiteracy among the general public. Witness how evolution and climate deniers have taken center stage. Yet perhaps even more disturbing is that for many adult Americans, there seems to be a profound lack of interest in science, a profound disconnect that they perceive between science and their lives. This isn't always so. Look at little kids. Why, they ask as they dig up worms and wander the woods and are blown away by the diversity of life on Earth. Yet, by the time many of these former children reach us at GCC, they've reframed the question. Why, they ask, do I have to take 2 science classes? What happened? And more importantly, what can we at GCC do about this? Part of our mission at GCC is to rekindle this innate fascination with science, to reawaken this natural sense of wonder at the world, to show our students just how important, how beautiful, how truly awesome non-human life is, and how its embrace and protection is of paramount importance. Here, hopefully, is one of many ways we can go about doing this. The death of this whale provides us a unique opportunity. Everyone walking through the main entrance to the core will be confronted with a spectacular display of an amazing creature. A creature that sung countless songs lasting 10 to 20 minutes, that nursed its young, that hurled its 40-ton body out of water in a dramatic marriage of beauty and grace, that ate a ton of fish a day, that had sex in the ocean. I mean, how cool is that? This is our big hope, that every day at least someone will pause here and perhaps just for a moment think, wow, this is awesome. I really like this. And on an even deeper level, perhaps their mental wheels will start turning, the light bulbs above their brains will start flashing, and they'll contemplate how non-human life really does matter. That maybe it's not just about us. Think about it. This could trigger this giant aha science moment, a science orgasm, if you will. And maybe, just maybe, this will provide that spark to reignite that innate fascination with the other that all of us have. Spark that move back towards scientific interest, that move towards scientific literacy. And that can only be a good thing. Without further ado, let us welcome the whale. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.